welcome to another episode of the True Beast Podcast, brought to you by xdog.com, where you're going to find the world's greatest fitness and health enhancement harness for dogs, the X Dog Weight and Fitness Vest. In addition, if you're looking to level up your dog's nutrition, you're going to find crafted kibble, freeze-dried training treats and toppers, along with supplements that go above and beyond industry standards. Make sure to check out xdog.com. And don't cut corners on your dog's health. And speaking about cutting corners, that's what we're going to talk about today. Y'all got to stop cutting corners out there, man. It doesn't matter if you're talking about personal development, employment, with your dog's health, if you want to own dogs. Cutting corners, man, is a habit that I've learned, especially with myself on a personal level and experience as being a leader in the company, right? And developing a business and brand. Yeah. How it's almost like an epidemic. Everybody's trying to find the easiest way to do things, and if you actually do the opposite and go all in, right now is a great opportunity, especially if you're looking for employment, right? Employers are looking. Let me tell you right now is the best time ever to find great quality clients. So if you are a business owner, not clients, but just employees, if you're a business owner right now, you can really find a lot of great employees right now and high quality ones.
And a lot of jobs are doing what they can to get employees. I know my buddy, he's a big wig at one of the Amazon places. So this is a plug too. They'll literally give you a $3,000 signing bonus just to work in the warehouse. And you'll make anywhere from 18 to 20 plus an hour, just because there's a lack of employee. They don't have enough people to do the jobs.
Yeah.
So they're like, here's 3 reps. Yeah. And come work. I have people like this. Bet.
And man, it's kind of crazy because like right now you got a lot of people who are collecting checks at home. And that's just a short game, man. You're cutting corner on the long ball right here, man. Like when you play the long game, you're gonna win for a long time. And it's just, trust me, the floodgates will open, and when they do open, you're gonna miss a massive opportunity when it comes to that, right?
So was there a time where you realized that it was important, if not imperative, that quality should come before everything? And that just means in your life. It doesn't even have to be X-Talk related, but like we've all tried to cut a corner or two and basically felt like we got a foot cut off.
Yeah, I think we consciously know that, we just don't, a lot of people, again, don't want to do the work, like right now it's like, if you go against the crowd, you're usually going to win, and I had to deal with that, even developing the products and stuff like that. And with the X-Dog Vest in general, like, it was one of those things where I dealt for about 3 years where everybody was trying to cancel me, Yeah. And now I've attracted super high quality individuals that believe in the vision, But I noticed that most of the people who are trying to cancel me are just the type of people who like to cut corners, For example, they're the type of people, like when you talk about social media, they don't build their own platform to where they have a voice. They try to jump on your platform, right?
And attract the nonsense. And
what
people fail to realize, I was around a girl, for instance, one of my homegirls, old homegirls. I remember she had 14,000 followers, got up to about 360. And the one thing that she did to grow that was talk to other girls, and they shared each other's stories, and they tagged each other, they did things. You'd be surprised how much you can grow if you actually just fucking work together.
Yeah, and it's one of those things right here. And here's another thing that you shouldn't cut corners on, especially when it comes to growing your social media. It's like people like to buy things from people who want to respond to them. You got some of these big influencers that are getting less traction now because they didn't take the time to just send a simple reply, And I know a lot of you guys have massive followers and stuff, so it's hard to reply to everybody. But if you just leave, like I know, like within the first 30 minutes of a post, I'm going to reply to most things, And
comments at least.
Yeah, and the audience knows that, right? And so you can train your audience to follow you, and that really helps the algorithms when it comes to boosting your post and getting it, in front of eyeballs that are utilized under hashtags. If you use them, put the hashtags, you'll find yourself higher in those algorithms, and so but again too, like some of y'all, man, you get so Hollywood, and now when when you talk about like you getting shadow banned, you know what I mean, it makes a big difference because you're going to need those 100 people who really truly supported you to continue to support you, and you turn your back on them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I told somebody before, whatever you did to be successful in this regard, don't change nothing. Yeah. People are supporting you because of what you've been. Don't be something different, my guy. Yeah. Be better, but
Yeah, and here's another thing too. If you're like an employee somewhere, like don't cut corners. You know what I mean? If you're the type of person who will walk past a piece of paper on the floor that you could easily pick up because you didn't put the paper on the floor, right? Like that's a corner cut. Or if you're the type of person, man, where we generate leads, like so the company generates leads, right? And you go off script, or you try to act salesy, and you cut corners on what you've been taught, or you don't go out and take the initiative and take the time to learn about the product. Not just what's being taught to you. Like, you give me a product, I don't care what it is, I'm going to go and I'll go spend at least 15 to 20 hours within the first 2 or 3 days getting to know everything about the product, the benefits of the product, how it can help other people, what problems does it solve, And again, too, a lot of you guys cut corners when it comes to your dog's training, your dog's nutrition.
Everything.
Yeah. What do you think is a big corner cut in the dog game right now?
I just think that because social media is giving some dogs some platforms, that people think if I buy this dog, I'm gonna do this, and I've spent a lot of money on dogs, and I know what the dog is going to do, but I know it's going to do for me, and that doesn't mean that dog is going to make me a lot of money.
Yeah.
That dog can be put in my program, used as a handler to build the idea out, but one thing is put it like this: if you buy a dog and you bought first pick, one of the kennels could be $25,000. Doesn't mean you're going to be able to sell the dog semen for $25,000, let alone make any money off the dog.
Yeah.
Because it may not work out the way you thought it was. So the corner cutter is, if I spend this money, I'm going to get that result. But money doesn't always justify quality.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy because a lot of people think that, especially from what I've seen, is a lot of people think it's just marketing, but a lot of people, man, are really successful in the dog game, produce quality. And if you produce quality, I don't care what name's behind it, if you put it out there, people, like dog people know what a good dog is. Really. Some people have a great eye, but then you got other people who have shitty eyes, right?
Yeah,
like,
two bad eyes, man. Blind leads the blind, and when two fools get together, they do some foolish fucking things, man.
Yeah.
Some foolish fucking things. So everything in regards to cutting corners, normally in this case, on the dog side, puts a dog's life at risk.
Do you think the dwarfism gene is a corner cut?
Are we talking about for the people who are doing it on the exotic side or the pocket side?
Let's go down the rabbit hole on both, since you brought that up.
Well, for the pocket people, they need it so that they can basically create that 12 and under dog. They like the idea of like a venom dog, a venom line, a venom himself. I believe Louis V, and those dogs who are 12 inches, but so and so wide, they can still play fetch.
Yeah.
The dwarfism gene, just like a gigantic gene per se, depending on who you are, they double up on it to control a look and make people feel like they have a designer dog. Well, we know designer things go for more money. Yeah. So it's almost one of those things where, for sure, if I do this, then I can get that price, more guaranteed. You don't see a lot of big standardized or names in the standard category, even though Blue, is a standard bully, and many others for that matter. So, and then on the exotic side, they need it so they can continue to breed more designer. It's like there's a designer dog, there's like this custom designer dog.
Yeah.
It ain't even a dog, but it is what it is. So they need the designer dog or the dwarfism gene so that they can continue to replicate or work through whatever issues they're trying to work through to breed these things that you can put in your purse with a big head. I know a dude back home, I think his kennel was Gooseland Pits or Bullies. And his whole sales pitch was that bucket that you wash your car with, he could put a whole grown dog in that bucket. That was his sales pitch.
What?
And this was like 10 years ago, before it even like the real exotic stuff was really jumping. He loved the little bucket pits or bullies at the time, because I was still confused about what the hell a bully was. It just like a bigger pit bull to me.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I kind of get it, but not really. But it is what it is.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. Like, when it comes to cutting corners, man, you can even, like I said, especially apply it within your life.
What's the worst thing ever happened to you because you cut a corner? Let's answer that, because I think that's we're talking about cutting corners, but we're not talking about cutting corners. And for some people who cut corners, the repercussions could be 20 years to life. Yeah, I'd probably get a DUI. I could have called an Uber. I could have not cut the corner and just called an Uber instead of trying to drive home. Right? Like, that was probably one of the biggest learning experiences. Yeah, well, that's one you learn definitely the hard way, because it just, and I bet very few times in life would I ever be embarrassed, and I'd imagine the same with you, because you own your shit. Yeah. But when you do things, you're like, damn, I could have just done something different. That's one of those embarrassing, because now you got to go deal with the police. We used the court system and pay a lot of money out of pocket.
I was a pain in the ass and being told what to do. Like, that was the worst thing for me, you know? Like, telling me what to do. Like, having somebody here, like, motherfucker, like, you know, like, your life ain't fucking shit. And you're telling me what to do, you know? Like, because I remember saying that really fucking rubbed me the wrong way, you know? Like, so I'm like, I'm never going to let somebody put me in that position ever again.
Yeah, and people, think about that. Think about every time you cut a corner or, you know, like you did something stupid or bad for even that matter. Look, there's no such thing as good and bad. It's just a matter of perspective. But some of you like, and then something happened to you, you'll be like, fuck, I knew I should have done that.
Yeah.
Like somebody ding in a car or something, come back, your whole bumper get knocked off.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine one time, we were at a Cheesecake Factory about to eat, right? Guy drops $100, and I don't see it.
Yeah.
But the guy walks off, and he's like, he puts his foot over the 100, grabs a $100 bill, and he's like, look at this. I said, well, why don't you give him his money back? Nah, man, he shouldn't have dropped it. He's one of them Negroes. Long story short, he's driving through a kid's zone the following Tuesday.
Yeah.
And gets a ticket for $160.
You see what I'm saying? That's how the intentions.
You should have just gave that guy these things. Man, I'm so mad. I said, now to insure everything going up.
Yep.
Because of that dumb shit you did. So karma's one of those things that comes from cutting corners.
Yeah.
And then you just know you got to do better after a certain amount.
But I'm telling you, man, that's why I don't wish bad on anybody who's done me wrong. You know, because I know the intention behind me wishing bad on them. You know what I mean? It's going to come back. You're going to attract it somehow in some way down the line. And so it's just like, you know, you just take your L on that. I learned to take my L on that and not to wish bad. You know what I mean? Like, it just is what it is. I don't know how it works and the way it works. But I think a lot of my success so far from how I got to where I'm at today is because my intentions were always good no matter what. I may have been hard, I may have been upfront, maybe I wasn't, maybe I was just being real and I just was around the wrong people, right?
Yeah.
But as far as just like, you know, there has to be a reason, you know what I mean? Like, there's a reason why high level people now want to fuck with me. It wasn't because the individuals are like, well, you know, he's a bad person. I heard from this person and this person and this person, and this is what I heard. You know, like, come on, man.
Yeah, you raised the bar in your own life, and that in itself, I mean, because technically, you know, very few to nobody that I'm guessing around you before or prior was even there mentally. And mentally, a lot of times people mean people that wanted to go there.
Yeah.
There's a table that some people want to sit at in the dog world. It's nice to sit at some of the top dog people's places. I always tell people I'm going to sit down and talk to a few of the best billionaires in the world. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
You know? And it ain't going to be because I fucking talked to a bunch of idiots. It's because every move I've ever made is to put me in position to get to where I need to be.
Yeah, you're not going to cut corners on that.
No, you can't, because all of them, what do? They put out quality shit.
Yeah.
They take their time. They put the pace. When Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post for $240 million, he didn't even need it. But he thought there was a way to provide instances of information to people, just like he does with most things. And they said, well, are you going to control what it says? He said, the Washington Post has been around for basically 100 years. What did I need to tell them what to do for? I didn't buy it so I could basically trump it.
Yeah.
I bought it so that I could help improve its operations and keep it alive. Because it just needs a shift. The newspaper factories, it was so cool. You was a kid watching the things being, the papers and stuff. We got back home, we can't see the newspaper. It's a big thing. He said, but now, like, who picks up a newspaper?
Yeah.
Fucking nobody, man.
Mm.
But that doesn't mean the intent and the quality can't go with, because news is still important, especially truthful news.
Yeah.
And everything for that matter.
Well, and, getting back to the dogs, the reason why I was able to capture a market was because a lot of people just cut corners on exercising their dogs. Mm-hmm. And so I created a convenient way. It gave me an opportunity to create a convenient way to exercise your dog and make it excuseless, right? Yeah. Now it's like, are you going to do the work to invest the $100 that it's going to cost you to invest into the vest, right? Which will cost you about 15-25 cents a day to exercise your dog, Now...
do that commercial, it would be a funny parody, but it wouldn't be funny because people were like, oh, that's so fucking ridiculous. Like, does your dog need exercise? Like what they do with the Ethiopian kids. And they're like,
oh, shit. The fly on the eyeball where they don't blink. They're just like,
yeah, you go.
Fuck, dude, just blink. The goddamn fly is right across your eyeball.
That shit, dog, donate 15 cents a day to save this fat ass dog's life.
Yeah.
That shit would be fucking hilarious. But, you get some of this backlash, man. It'd be ridiculous.
It might be great.
Hey, look.
It might be great.
I think so.
Listen, you go the opposite way. We've always talked about it, man. I mean, think about this now. Like, Kyrie Irving, he doesn't want to get vaccinated. And I think a lot of people look at it and like, oh, you got Charles fat ass Barkley, right? And he's like, well, it's not just, you got to do it for not for yourself, right? Like, motherfucker, you did a lot of shit for yourself. You know what I mean?
What?
And so it's like this, man. Like, I get where Kyrie's standing. You know, he's standing for freedom and rights. And I don't think a lot of people think that they're not seeing it that way. You know, like Stephen A. Smith drives me fucking crazy listening to him. You know what I mean? Like, I can't stand that motherfucker sometimes. And
Stephen A. makes some good points.
He does. No, he makes some good points.
He's like, y'all don't ask for when nothing else gets put in your body. Now you're worried about what's in the vaccine.
Yeah, but I think media in general is fucking bullshit. But I don't know if you've seen the video with Floyd coming out.
What do you say?
And just sticking up for Kyrie. You know, he's like, look, Kyrie, I met you a few years.
I'm big on all that. I'm a huge Ali fan. And what people don't know was when Ali chose not to go to the military, fight over there in Vietnam.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people who felt the same way about the Vietnam, who supported him.
Yeah.
And if it was really that bad, he would have never even had a second chance to come box again.
Yeah.
But there was a huge community, and then they artistically put together something where he was like balled up and had arrows in him, right?
Yeah.
And he wanted to do that specific to the issues he was dealing with at the time.
Yeah.
So you go from 0 to 100, back to 0. But think about that: a man willing to lose what we call, $180 plus million, or literally in that time he couldn't be touched specifically.
Yeah.
Because he believes in this so-called idea of freedom, which America's slowly but surely showing us that
we're losing it.
It's not so free over here.
Nah,
it's getting real
dicey.
Man to say, but you said it right. Dicey.
It's getting a little dicey.
And that's my thing too. I mean, if it was beyond the reason about a cure, put it like this. I know a chick who went to Cali 2 weeks ago for her sister's bridal party. All of them have the shot. She's a nurse, so she had to have the shot. 8 out of 10 people got COVID.
Well, you know,
I'm confused. I was like, yo, we getting the shot and we still getting it. I'm confused because this motherfucker was put down like a dog.
Well, I know, I was listening to earlier where it's like a Universal Studios, right? It's making you, I think it's out in California, where they're making you, you have to have a vaccination card, right, to go in. It's an outdoor park, but you have to also wear a mask, even though you're all vaccinated.
See what I'm saying?
I
just, when I don't get into it, I don't understand the DNA, all the stuff that they're doing, and the specific style of what they're scientifically speaking, but I just don't get it.
And if you're really worried and concerned about your health, stop cutting corners on the food you put in your body. Stop cutting corners on exercising, and
it
just is what it is.
Issues for a reason, it's like, oh, look what this thing did to this person's lungs, or this is that, and the pre-existing problems are still health related.
I just want to, I don't know if you remember this, but weren't dogs catching COVID and now they're not?
Yeah, that was like,
where the hell did that go?
A lion at the zoo called COVID. You go, y'all getting ridiculous. How do you even test a lion? You stuck something up his nose? Stop it.
Yeah.
You ain't stuck no one of the things up the lion's nose and checked it out.
Stop cutting them corners. Stick that fucking thing up that lion's nose.
They'll be risking their lives, man.
As far as you're in the fitness industry.
Yeah.
As far as what are some of the biggest corner cutting when it comes to that?
Well, the biggest thing for people in the fitness world is supplements. Supplements are the one size fits all. It's something new every 2 weeks. They're not protected. They're protected under the Vitamin Act, so the FDA doesn't get involved, which is why every time you go in Costco, and trust me, I know people tell you, I love seeing new supplements.
Yeah.
And none of them do shit, And it's sad because even the kids believe if they take protein, they're going to get strong.
Yeah.
The protein's created, and through absorption. It's not something that you ingest, and now you've got protein in your body.
Yeah.
And then the quality of that protein. So the biggest corner cut is people thinking that they're basically taking some supplement to basically build muscle or lose fat. So the irony is when someone, I start taking these shakes. And then they tell me everything else. I said, so you're walking, you're working out every day. I said, okay, so the placebo of this shake got your ass off the couch and you I lost 15, 20 pounds. I assure you, it's not because of the shake, my friend.
Yeah.
It's because you started expensive fucking energy for once.
Yeah.
And watch what you actually put in your system. You increase your water. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All those things took place. And you think it shakes the answer?
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah,
Shake is a good starter. I mean, for those people who need to believe that this is the answer.
Well, it's called a supplement, right? So if you're coming up short on maybe your daily protein intake that you're supposed to get from other sources, then you should possibly consider adding that, right?
Supplement by definition is complete, and there's a lot of incomplete sources of meat, carbs, protein, bread. I mean, if you just go down the line, there's a lot of insufficient stuff out there that we're putting in our body, and you wonder why we're so inflamed.
Yeah.
And inflammation is one of the keys, and which leads to a cancerous environment.
Yeah.
So we breed cancer along with many other issues because we don't put quality shit in our body.
And I don't think a lot of people understand, how inflammation works. But if you're lethargic, you're tired, you could be in decent shape, right? And if you're tired and lethargic, like most couch potato dogs who you think are comfortable and just chilling, you're inflamed.
Yep. Inflammation is the only thing I would tell people to study. It's literally you poisoning yourself, and you don't know that you're poisoning yourself. But you're poisoning yourself, but you don't have a point of reference because life's happening to you. And so maybe you're working all the time, you're tired, you got kids such and such. By the time it happens, you've eaten twice that day and done nothing for yourself. So the one thing I encourage even people to do about working out and even spending time alone, I said, you got to go do something for you every day.
Yeah.
I said, you won't know until it's over how much that was needed in terms of replenishing your own energies.
Yeah.
But if you have a wife, kid, family, and people have got games, traps, such and such, and you did nothing for yourself, I believe in being selfless, but there are at least 30 minutes a day where you got to be selfish.
Oh, minimum.
Period. And that 30 minutes, you can really maximize 30 minutes and feel great about everything you did today for others because you still took care of yourself.
Yeah, because if not, you're cutting corners on giving the best version of yourself to those people around you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that could be you forcing everybody to sit down and read, have a conversation, talk, engage in whatever you're doing. I mean, it could be fucking you guys playing a game there, but if you like playing fucking like card games with people, fucking get them together. I mean, it doesn't always just have to be an individual thing. It's like, what is one thing you enjoy doing that you can almost do every day? Yeah. And you got to go do that. Yeah. You got to at least try to. And that's one of the things from my experience is, health for me, it started years ago with mental. It's all mental. That's the thing. If you believe you can, you do. And if you don't, you basically stay exactly where you at. But knowing where to start is the key as well. And you got to start with where's your mind at? Yeah. And if your mind ain't in a good place, it's going to be a journey.
Yeah, I think everybody's looking for that one fix all, but there's a lot of things that you have to combine synergistically to work together. From the foods you put in your body to spending that personal time with yourself, getting your mind right, to obtaining more knowledge, to exercising daily, and to, just being self-aware, about things.
Yeah, the mind right thing. Most people don't know that they're mentally ill. Yeah. That's the part. You guys, mental illness means you can't put sentences together or you have some mental deficiency. Yeah. But when you literally mentally cannot think for yourself, that's an illness. Yeah. When everything you do is based on someone's perception of you, that's an illness. Yeah. That's social media. That's when the person you decide to wake up and be every day is for somebody else. Yeah. That's an illness. And you don't know that you're poisoning yourself every day when you fucking wake up. And then by the time you come to, you won't even know how to get out of it. And now you're sick and there's no cure for it.
Yeah. Hey, so did you see, what do you think about Dave Chappelle right now? Like, the whole situation?
I think it's wonderful. I've watched the special. He said nothing wrong. He literally is telling the story. Mm-hmm. He said nothing that, I don't even know what, like, I genuinely, I watched it twice. I'm like, what did he say that was so hateful? I'm so confused. Yeah. I'm so confused. I'm baffled.
Oh, well, it's kind of crazy because did you hear about the person who that called him out and led the whole march? Did you hear what happened?
No, what happened?
Oh, they found a bunch of tweets of him being racist. Him or what's the
whatever it is, we get it.
Being racist, right? Like a bunch of racist tweets.
Where is that motherfucker at now? Oh, you can't find them. Yeah. All that shit. At the end, people, like he said, you have to watch his special.
There was an individual just called out Halloween, saying it was racist towards, Michael Myers is racist towards gays. There's a gay couple in there. It's like, oh my God. Isn't that shit, you know what I mean? Like, it's getting to the point where it's out of hand.
It was out of hand before, but it's really out of hand now. And I just don't know when he said that was wrong. If anything, he spoke very highly of the people and the interactions with all the people that were of. He put one in front of his show. You know how hard it is to get it in front, like do an opening act for Dave Chappelle? Yeah. Like he don't have to give that door to nobody. And he let a funny motherfucker who he thought was, he didn't think that was a friend of his, open up. Yeah. Like, stop it, guys.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy because I think like the media makes it seem like these individuals speak for everybody in that community, and they don't, man. Like I have a lot of friends, males and females, who are gay, or lesbian, and dude, they're just like, this is fucking stupid.
It is stupid, but people need something to complain about. People need something to bitch about. People need something to cancel. And again, he said nothing homophobic, nothing transphobic. I mean, and again, I don't know what all the words are, but even when he doesn't know, guess what he does? So I learned this stuff. And he teaches you about some shit he learned in the community, but nothing he said put anybody out.
Yeah.
Like nothing. And at the end of the day, what people got to realize is, you know, the First Amendment is what? Freedom of speech.
Yeah.
So the minute you no longer can speak and be who you want to be.
Who's that affect the most? The people who are trying to cancel other people out.
Exactly.
Right?
It's really sad, man. So again, the thing is, you turn it off. You can turn off. But one thing I hate also, and for those that don't know about Reed Hastings, Netflix does a good job of putting all different types of information out there.
Yeah.
So culturally speaking, you could find something else to hate on Netflix. But the Indians have a community, the Africans, everyone has something that they can find on Netflix.
Yeah.
And some of it is gruesome.
Yeah.
And some of it's funny. Some of it's raw as shit and you don't know how to look for it.
Yeah.
But I found a lot of it. And not even looking to prove a point. I was like, oh, let me watch this. Like, oh shit, this is intense.
Yeah.
There's a lot of religious shit on Netflix.
Yeah.
You go down the rabbit hole on Netflix. So the minute Netflix, which years ago was deemed could be one of the greatest content creating companies of all time because of the direction that they took first to do it and have control over it.
Yeah.
No longer can put out things that allow people to be creative, be free in thought, be free to express ideas, and you know the making a murder. I mean, they highlight all kinds of stuff.
Well,
nobody said about the movie Spotlight.
Well,
yeah, you go down the line, there's a lot of fucking content being put out there about this. Like, oh, here it is, and that just kind of gets overlooked.
Well, when you think about Netflix wouldn't be around if Blockbuster didn't cut any corners, right?
There you go, another one.
Blockbuster was, I don't think, is there one left?
One left.
There's
one documentary on Netflix, by the way, about one Blockbuster that is still in business and is on its way out.
Could you imagine being Blockbuster right now, being a documentary on something that just murdered you? Like,
kids wouldn't even know who you were.
Motherfucking late fees, dude, back in the day. I hated them sons of bitches.
Yeah, them motherfuckers will send you to collection. That's how bad Blockbuster was. They'll send your ass to collection. You know.
They had shitty intentions.
Yeah, and the funny is because that's why Netflix was created. He was like, I didn't know, like, I'm either going like, I'm about to start lying to my wife about these late fees, or I gotta figure something out.
Yeah.
So he's like, I gotta create something that basically doesn't put my marriage at risk.
Yeah.
That's to say the least. So he figured it out, man. I hate what Dave Chappelle's even, but I'm glad that he's strong and smart enough. Mind you, the man don't need money. Nobody hates Dave.
Yeah.
All the right people, and keep in mind, you guys, you gotta realize he having the power to create his own station, like Oprah.
Yeah.
Like he really could.
Yeah.
And get everybody together, and somebody would give Dave Chappelle the money.
Yeah.
Point blank. And what you guys also fail to realize is there's probably more people who feel more about what we'll just say this, how Dave might feel than they feel about others. But y'all's voice is so loud that people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Addressing it. But you know how them Trumpers are. They say anything.
Well, maybe. Maybe. But yeah, man. So other than that, man, so let's talk about your fitness. Give the audience maybe 2 or 3 advices or tips to build some momentum to prevent them from cutting corners that will improve their overall health.
Oh, so I haven't worked out in quite some time, right? So I start walking, putting my with my dog, and that right there gets your mind back right. No matter time, day or night, I got an Apple Watch. Start with a mile. So I tell people all the time, hey, I used to run all the time. Okay, just walk a mile.
Yeah.
And walk back home.
Yeah.
Let's do that first. A mile at least every day. And then that mile will increase, your breathing will increase, you'll start appreciating that time you get to yourself, being out in the wherever you're at, walking around, hiking, whatever the case may be. From there, you might pick up some weights. So I start saying, how can I maximize 30 minutes of work? I don't have a lot of time, Hey, listen, people. Sometimes our topics get a little bit longer. We don't want to cut it just at 30. If we're really rolling, we keep this thing going. Therefore, at the end of our YouTube, you will see, hey, jump on the links listed below. Follow us on Spotify,
Sure.
Apple,
Sure.
Where else? Google.
Wherever else you guys list us at.
Yeah, wherever we're listed at, and continue to follow and listen to the show, whatever we're talking about. Hopefully you enjoy the topics. Stay tuned. Appreciate you guys' support.
Yeah, and as always, man, leave us a comment, subscribe, share. In the comments or in the reviews, also, leave us some topics that you would like us to discuss. We don't hold back, so if you want us to talk about something, be sure to leave it there. So, as always,
Team X Dog Strong.